For decades, they told you that butter clogs your arteries, that eggs raise your cholesterol, and that red meat and coffee were just ticking time bombs for your heart. Doctors repeated it, magazines printed it, commercials sold it. You probably believed it, because why wouldn't you? But what if they were wrong? What if everything you've been told about food and heart health was based on a theory that never quite held up? What if the very foods you've been avoiding are the ones that could help you live longer and feel better doing it? One heart surgeon, who's performed over 3,000 open heart surgeries, now says these villains of the dinner table may actually be your heart's best allies. Sounds outrageous? Maybe. But here's the twist. He's not just guessing. He's looking at years of data, decades of patient outcomes, and one uncomfortable truth. We've been fearing the wrong things. Instead of cutting out real whole foods, we should have been cutting out the fake ones. If you've ever felt confused about what's truly healthy, or wondered why heart disease is still the #1 killer in America, you're not alone. And you're about to hear a perspective that just might change the way you eat forever. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I love seeing how far these conversations reach. And let me ask you, out of butter, red meat, coffee, and eggs, which one shocked you the most? Was it butter, the one we were told for years to fear? Or was it eggs, the food people still throw away the yolk from? Your answer might help someone rethink their health today. So don't be shy. Comment below and let's get into it. Because coming up next, we're counting down 4 of the most controversial foods, from the least to the most powerful, when it comes to protecting your heart. And the one that tops the list, most people still avoid it, but maybe they shouldn't. Meet Dr. Philip Ovadia. He's a board-certified heart surgeon who spent over 2 decades in the operating room and performed more than 3,000 open heart surgeries. If anyone knows what a diseased heart looks like, it's him. But here's the thing. After years of treating patients when it was already too late, he started asking a simple question. What if we could prevent heart disease before it begins? That question led him down a path that challenged everything he'd been taught in medical school. He began reviewing the data, not just as a surgeon, but as a man who used to struggle with his own weight and health. And what he found shocked him. The foods we were told to fear, like butter, eggs, red meat, and coffee, weren't the enemy. In fact, they might be part of the solution. In this video, we're counting down these 4 controversial foods from least to most powerful based on Dr. Ovadia's clinical experience and decades of research. He ranks them using 3 key criteria: how they support heart health, how nutrient-dense they are, and how they impact insulin resistance. One of the root causes of heart disease. It's a ranking that flips conventional wisdom on its head, but by the end, you might never look at your breakfast plate the same way again. Now let's be honest, some of you are already skeptical. You're thinking, how can butter or red meat be good for my heart? We've been told the opposite for so long, it almost feels reckless to question it, and you're not wrong to question. That's smart. But here's something most people don't realize. The belief that saturated fat causes heart disease, it's based on a theory from the 1950s. A theory that was never proven and has since been challenged by modern research from leading journals like JACC and the BMJ. See, for years, we've focused on fat as the villain. We blamed cholesterol, we feared meat, and we swapped real food for processed substitutes, low-fat spreads, sugary cereals, and so-called heart-healthy snacks. But the truth is, during that same time, heart disease didn't get better. It got worse, much worse. So maybe, just maybe, we've been looking in the wrong direction. And the foods we pushed away, They might hold the key to healing. Let's break it down, one food at a time. Number 4 on the list, red meat. Yes, that same red meat that's been blamed for heart attacks, high cholesterol, and early death. But Dr. Ovadia says it's time to separate myth from reality, and science agrees. First, let's be clear. We're not talking about hot dogs, deli meats, or sausage patties from the drive-thru. We're talking about unprocessed, nutrient-rich cuts of real meat, like grass-fed beef, lamb, or bison. When you strip away the additives, preservatives, and artificial fillers, what's left is one of the most complete and nourishing foods you can put on your plate. Red meat is packed with complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to build and repair tissue, including heart muscle. It's also rich in iron, specifically heme iron, which is far more absorbable than the kind found in plants. Add to that a powerful dose of zinc, B12, and carnitine, nutrients critical for energy, brain function, and immune support. But here's what most people miss. Red meat does not spike your insulin. Unlike refined carbs or sugary snacks, red meat keeps your blood sugar stable, helping lower inflammation and protect your arteries over time. Why does that matter? Because insulin resistance, not dietary fat, is one of the biggest drivers of heart disease today, and red meat doesn't contribute to it. Still not convinced? Let's look at the numbers. A 2021 study from Oxford University found that while processed meats were clearly linked to heart disease, unprocessed red meat showed only a modest association, and that risk drops significantly when paired with a diet low in refined carbs and seed oils. Another review published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology in 2020 concluded that there's no strong evidence linking saturated fats from whole foods like red meat to increased cardiovascular risk. In fact, the researchers called for a reassessment of the entire dietary guideline system. Now, does that mean you should eat steak for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Not quite. What Dr. Ovadia recommends is simple. A small portion, about 4 to 6 ounces of grass-fed beef, lamb, or bison once a day. Cook it in butter or beef tallow to retain its nutrients, and pair it with fiber-rich vegetables like broccoli or Brussels sprouts to support digestion and gut health. It's not about eating more. It's about eating smarter. Because when it comes to red meat, the danger never came from the meat itself. It came from misunderstanding it. Coming in at number 3, grass-fed butter. Now that might stop you in your tracks. Butter? Good for your heart? For years, butter was painted as the villain. Too much fat, too much cholesterol, too dangerous. We were told to trade it in for margarine, low-fat spreads, and vegetable oils. But it turns out, those swaps may have done more harm than good. See, butter from grass-fed cows isn't just a tasty topping. It's a nutrient powerhouse. One of its secret weapons? Vitamin K2. This vitamin plays a key role in calcium metabolism, keeping calcium out of your arteries and in your bones and teeth where it belongs. Without enough K2, calcium can build up in your blood vessels, leading to stiff arteries and increased risk of heart attack. But with enough K2, that dangerous process slows down or even reverses. And guess what? Grass-fed butter is one of the richest natural sources of K2 on the planet. But that's not all. Butter also contains a compound called butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid known for its anti-inflammatory effects. It supports gut health, lowers inflammation, and helps regulate metabolism. Key ingredients in the recipe for a healthy heart. Now let's tackle the elephant in the room. Saturated fat. The old belief was simple. Saturated fat raises cholesterol, which clogs arteries, which causes heart attacks. But modern science paints a different picture. The 2020 JACC review, the same prestigious journal cardiologists rely on, concluded that there's no clear link between saturated fat from real foods and increased heart disease risk. In fact, they urged health authorities to reconsider decades of guidance. Why the confusion? Because when people removed butter, they didn't just remove fat, they added in processed carbs, sugar, and inflammatory seed oils, like those found in margarine and cheap cooking sprays. And those changes, they made things worse. So how do you use butter in a heart-healthy way? Dr. Ovadia recommends just 1 to 2 tablespoons per day. Use it to cook your eggs in the morning, saute your vegetables, pan-sear a steak, or melt a pat over steamed spinach. Because butter doesn't just add flavor, it helps your body absorb essential fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. Nutrients your heart, brain, and hormones depend on. So instead of fearing butter, maybe it's time to bring it back, one golden spoonful at a time. Number 2 might already be in your hands right now. Black coffee. That morning cup you count on to wake you up? Turns out, it might be doing a whole lot more than keeping your eyes open. For years, coffee had a bad reputation. People worried it raised blood pressure, stressed the heart, maybe even triggered palpitations. But recent research tells a very different story. When taken plain, without sugar, syrups, or whipped toppings, black coffee becomes one of the most powerful heart-protective drinks available. Why? First, it's packed with antioxidants and polyphenols, plant compounds that fight oxidative stress. That's the kind of stress that wears down your blood vessels, triggers inflammation, and lays the groundwork for heart disease. But coffee doesn't stop there. It also improves endothelial function. That's the ability of your blood vessels to expand and contract smoothly. Better blood flow means lower risk of clots, strokes, and high blood pressure. It also stimulates nitric oxide production, helping relax blood vessels and boost circulation, especially important as we age. And perhaps most surprisingly, coffee plays a role in blood sugar control. It helps improve insulin sensitivity, meaning your body responds better to insulin and keeps blood sugar levels stable. Why does that matter? Because as we've said, insulin resistance, not cholesterol, is a major driver of modern heart disease, and coffee supports your body's ability to fight it. A 2021 study from the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that people who drank 2 to 3 cups of black coffee per day had a significantly reduced risk of heart failure and stroke. But here's the key. It has to be clean, not the flavored lattes or sugar-laden iced coffees, just real brewed coffee. Black, maybe a splash of unsweetened heavy cream if you prefer it smoother. Skip the oat milk, skip the syrups, skip the artificial sweeteners. Because when you do, you unlock the benefits without the metabolic damage. And let's not forget the mental side. Coffee also supports brain health, focus, and mood, thanks to those same anti-inflammatory compounds. So instead of fearing your morning brew, maybe it's time to raise your mug with confidence. Just keep it simple and let coffee do what it was designed to do. And finally, at number 1, the most complete, most misunderstood, and most unfairly criticized food of them all, eggs. For decades, we were told to throw out the yolk. Too much cholesterol, they said. Bad for your heart, they warned. But the science today tells a different story. And Dr. Ovadia agrees. Eggs are not dangerous. In fact, they might just be one of nature's most perfect foods. Let's start with choline, a nutrient you've probably never heard much about. But choline plays a major role in heart health by helping lower levels of homocysteine, an amino acid linked to inflammation and arterial damage. When homocysteine levels get too high, your risk of stroke and heart disease climbs. In eggs, they're one of the best natural sources of choline on the planet. But that's just the beginning. Each whole egg contains a complete protein profile, giving your body the exact building blocks it needs to repair tissues, including your heart muscle. The yolk, once feared, is where the true gold lies. It's loaded with fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K2. The same vitamin found in grass-fed butter that keeps calcium out of your arteries. You'll also find selenium for immune support, biotin for metabolism, and natural forms of omega-3s, especially in pasture-raised eggs. Think of eggs as your body's multivitamin, wrapped in a perfect little shell. Now let's tackle the cholesterol myth head-on. For most people, dietary cholesterol doesn't significantly impact blood cholesterol levels. In fact, multiple large studies, including a 2023 meta-analysis published in PubMed Central, show that eating up to one egg per day is not associated with increased heart disease risk. In some cases, egg consumption was even linked to lower stroke risk. So why all the fear? Because in the race to fight heart disease, cholesterol became an easy target. But instead of looking deeper, we blame foods like eggs, while ignoring the bigger threats: sugar, seed oils, and metabolic dysfunction. Dr. Ovadia isn't just quoting science, he's lived it. As a once overweight doctor himself, eggs became a cornerstone of his own metabolic recovery. And here's the best part: eggs are simple, affordable, and endlessly versatile. Scrambled, boiled, poached, fried, they fit into any meal. Just cook them in grass-fed butter or coconut oil and skip the processed vegetable oils. Aim for 2 to 4 pasture-raised eggs per day. They come from chickens that eat a natural diet, leading to more omega-3s, more vitamins, and more benefits in every bite. Instead of fearing the yolk, maybe it's time to celebrate it. Because when you eat the whole egg, you're not just fueling your body, you're supporting your heart, your brain, and your hormones, one delicious bite at a time. So, what does a heart-healthy day really look like? Not in theory, not in the abstract, but right on your plate? Dr. Ovadia's one-day heart fix plate is simple, satisfying, and built entirely from real, whole foods. No powders, no gimmicks, just ingredients your grandparents would recognize. Start your morning with 2 to 3 pasture-raised eggs, fried in grass-fed butter. Not only are you getting high-quality protein and brain-boosting choline, you're also starting your day without a sugar spike, keeping insulin levels steady from the first bite. Pair that with a strong cup of black coffee. No syrups, no flavors, no oat milk. Just coffee, rich in antioxidants, supporting your circulation and mental clarity. Lunch is just as grounded. Go for a hearty salad made with mixed greens, a 5-ounce grilled grass-fed steak, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil with sea salt. The fiber from the greens supports digestion. The protein and fats keep you full, energized, and metabolically stable. Dinner keeps things clean and comforting. Try roasted lamb or grass-fed beef served with steamed spinach or kale, lightly tossed in butter or beef tallow. No processed sauces, no breading, just nutrient-dense fuel that nourishes your heart, muscles, and metabolism. Want a little boost during the day? Stick to 2 to 3 cups of black coffee, spaced out, clean, and without additives. A splash of heavy cream is okay if it helps you enjoy the ritual. What makes this day so effective isn't just what's included, it's what's missing. No seed oils, no processed carbs, no refined sugars. This is how Dr. Ovadia eats, and it's how many of his patients have reversed weight gain, improved blood pressure, and even stabilized blood sugar without hunger or deprivation. Because the truth is, eating for your heart doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be real. Let's take a moment to bust a few of the biggest heart health myths, quick and clear. Myth number 1, fat clogs your arteries. Truth, not all fats are the same. Fats from real foods like butter and eggs don't harm your heart. The real problem? Inflammatory seed oils and processed carbs. Myth number 2. Cholesterol from food raises your blood cholesterol. Truth. For most people, dietary cholesterol has little impact on blood cholesterol levels. Your liver produces cholesterol naturally. What matters more is inflammation and insulin resistance. Myth number 3. Red meat causes heart disease. Truth. Processed meats? Yes, there's risk, but unprocessed red meat, especially grass-fed, is rich in nutrients and doesn't spike insulin. Studies show no strong link to heart disease when eaten in moderation. Myth number 4. Eggs are bad for your heart. Truth. The opposite is true. Whole eggs are loaded with choline, healthy fats, and heart-supportive vitamins. Recent studies show moderate egg intake is perfectly safe and possibly protective. So the next time someone says fat is bad or meat causes heart attacks, you'll know better, because it's not about fear, it's about facts. So now that you've heard it all, butter, eggs, red meat, coffee, which one surprised you the most? Was it the idea that butter might actually protect your arteries? That eggs are your heart's best friend, not its enemy? Or that coffee does more than just wake you up? It keeps your blood vessels healthy too? Let me know in the comments. Your answer might be the one that makes someone else pause and rethink what they've believed for years. And if you want a free copy of Dr. Ovadia's top recommended foods and easy meal ideas, just comment "Heart Fix" below. I'll send it your way, because the real threat to your heart isn't butter, it isn't eggs, it's insulin resistance. And the processed foods that feed it. Fix your metabolism and your heart will follow. Eat real food every day, starting now.